cold as a razor blade.
For another episode of The Snake Pit, and of course, I could never do it without the man himself, pop culture icon, master of the DDT, WWE Hall of Famer, Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake, what's going on, man?
Just swaying with the wind, man.
Yeah, those are a lot of names, and I still do have to come up with more. We are going to do an episode one of these days where it's just 35 minutes of me just saying all your nicknames.
I think so.
I think we could probably do it. But what we're doing today, Jake, is a look back, our final look back to Jake the Snake Roberts and the new generation. I misspoke before when I said that we were all done after the Survivor Series 96 episode. As it turns out, of course, we never covered SummerSlam of 1996 and a rivalry that's going to kind of go down in infamy between yourself and Jerry Lawler, which we'll get into the gory details of here shortly. Before we get there, though, Jake, you were recently here in Pittsburgh with me, and we even got to share a little dinner.
Yeah, we had a little broke the bread, so to speak, man.
We did, and it was a great experience. You got to meet my family, my daughters, which was really wonderful, and we got to spend time with you and Cheryl, which, we had a really great time with you guys. One of the things that really stuck out about this, though, and I have a feeling you know where I'm going, is you and I and Cheryl were walking through the dining room on our way in, and I overheard somebody say, hey, that's that guy. And so we go to like a back room, and I told you about it. I was like, well, somebody might be coming in here, Jake. I think he just got recognized out there. A little while later, the waitresses come in and they say, hey, we're really sorry to bother you, but one of the customers out there pointed you out. And are you Ric Flair?
Yeah. Can you believe that shit? I've done a lot of things in my life, but I've never been called Ric Flair.
Man. Of all of our jaws just about dropped, and the funniest part was Cheryl's like, no, but he is a wrestler, he's a WWE Hall of Famer, and you showed the ring. It's like it didn't register with them at first, where they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't Flair, it just goes to show you Flair's over, man.
I guess so. People will just want to see Ric Flair, so they're like, any wrestler they see, that must be Ric Flair.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man, hilarious. But we all know you here on the show, Jake, and I'm really excited to get into this. We do have one more note though before we get in here, and that's unfortunately, just a couple weeks ago, you and I spoke about the passing of Sika, one half of the Wild Samoans. And now, very unfortunately, Afa has now joined him in the great hereafter. Jake, I wanted to give you a minute to talk about Afa.
I can remember wrestling them in Mid-South, and they were so damn big, man, and they looked so friggin' scary.
Yes.
They were some scary looking devils, man. And Jimmy Garvin and I wrestled them.
How was that?
It was entertaining. It was entertaining. Awful wound up knocking me out with a head.
Knocking you out for what?
Yeah. Because Jimmy said something from the apron that pissed him off.
So it hit Jimmy.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, one of the things that always stuck out whenever those guys were on screen, and DiBiase just talked about this, was like, you could probably call bullshit on some things on a wrestling card. When those guys came out, you're like, well, those guys are crazy, and I don't want to mess with them.
Yeah, they look like beef eaters.
Yes, they did. Like, they looked like a dangerous couple of guys that, as I said on Everybody's Got a Pod, like, might eat your face if you piss them off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's true, they would.
And I was going to say, in some cases, that legitimately happened with the Samoans. You were there for one of those.
Yes, I was. Of course, it was Haku.
That's right. The most dangerous of all. But, rest in peace to Afa and Sika. What a loss to the wrestling world and the world in general.
Absolutely.
Well, Jake, let's go ahead and get into these notes. We are coming off the heels of King of the Ring 1996 and a really huge moment from your run with the WWF that year with the Austin 316 promo. Jake, you were set to take on Mankind at International Incident, but missed the pay-per-view, and Henry Godwin is going to come in and replace you for the match. There's a video out there floating around of a great promo that you cut on the way to International Incident, and you'll say on TV after the pay-per-view that you missed because of an injury. Jake, do you remember if that was the real reason or just storyline?
I cannot remember. I can't remember.
we're talking about 28 years ago, so it's certainly understandable. I have to believe that after King of the Ring, you had worked with Vader there?
That
Oh,
might be a problem I had.
yeah, after working with Vader, I have a feeling that you may have been injured.
Yeah, I think I was.
Well, Mankind pretty hot during this time, coming off a win against The Undertaker, which is something that rarely happened in this era. He made his debut the night after WrestleMania 12, where he attacked Taker and left him laying in the middle of the aisle after a flying elbow from the apron to the floor. Probably one of his most spectacular, but also most damaging to his body type moves. That elbow drop he used to do down to the floor, which is crazy, landing on your hip like that. You had spent time with Mick in WCW a few years prior to this, of course. What did you think of his new dark character here on the biggest stage in all of wrestling?
Oh, I loved the character, man. I thought it was awesome. Really did. I thought he played it well.
He did. It's interesting. It's kind of a weird name, kind of a weird look, but like, man, that kind of dark, interesting character. All of a sudden, it gives this guy some new layers, and a good way to repackage, reinvent Cactus Jack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, he's coming in with a nice push here out of the gate. When you met Mick, did you view him as a guy with the potential to do big things with the right creative, or did you not see that in him right away?
Oh yeah, I knew right away when I met him in WCW that he's going to be something special.
Was it his ring skill or like his mic work or what? What stuck out about Mick?
It was just his being, man. It just the way he carried himself and his look. He has a dirty, nasty look
Hmm.
and kind of scary.
He does, and that's probably another reason why the Mankind character really kind of jived well with him.
Yep.
I know that you were on the creative team at the time, and it does make me wonder, do you recall if the plan was for yourself and Mick to have more of a program, or was this just kind of like a one-off on the way to you and Lawler?
It was a one-off.
Oh, okay. Now, yourself and Mick, it kind of cut from the same cloth from like a promo type standpoint in many regards. He tends to be a little bit louder, but he'll go dark and all that stuff. Did you and Mick ever kind of discuss promos?
Sure, we did.
And was he like asking your advice?
My 2 cents worth, and I believe I directed him on a few promos.
Really?
Yeah,
Like you were literally behind the camera in like the boiler room?
yeah,
How about that? I didn't know that that was part of your duties there.
yeah. Boiler room is exactly where we did it.
That's amazing. Now, is this your first kind of foray into being behind the camera and telling people what to do?
Well, I'd helped several people before, but yeah, this was first big time.
Man, that's really incredible that you did that. Do you remember if you were behind the camera for any other talents moving forward?
I was, but I can't remember who it was.
The fact that Vince, who's like a notorious micromanager of everything that goes on his TV, is saying like, "Hey Jake, can you come in and help with creative? Hey Jake, can you help us shoot a vignette?" Like, it does really go to show that the guy, for all of his faults, he had a lot of faith in you.
Yeah, he liked my work, man. He just didn't like me.
Now, now, are you saying that tongue in cheek, like he didn't like me, like you didn't get the kind of money that you wanted, or did he? Do you feel like Vince McMahon legitimately did not like you?
No, I think he liked me a lot. He just couldn't figure me out.
I gotcha. So a lot of talents are kind of predictable. It's like you give them money, you give them good creative, they're pretty satisfied. But a lot of time, you were a little bit more of a deep thinker, right?
Yeah, I was. Sure was.
Well, Jim Ross has said before when talking about this period that he can't picture a scenario where experienced veterans like yourself and Lawler would have anything other than good matches. With that being said, do you feel like maybe things would have gone better if you had gone into a program with Mankind here during this time instead?
Well, I know the Lawler thing sucked in a big way,
Hmm.
and for many different reasons. Um, it was just bullshit. And even Lawler told me later that he hated doing it, did not want to be a part of it. but it was Vince's twisted mind that enjoyed that.
It was tasteless, yes. And we're gonna get into that here in a minute, in a little bit more detail, so that people who aren't really familiar with the story can familiarize themselves before maybe going back and watching the match. Mick has said that the two of you traveled and shared hotel rooms at times during this period. Would you say that you considered Mick a friend during this period?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got along well.
And again, in his own right, Mick is, he's spent a lot of years in wrestling to this point. He's like, he's made it to the biggest stage in wrestling. So obviously he's really got something and he's starting to kind of come into his own. But that being said, you have a big experience edge on him. Would you say that Mick was kind of picking your brain during these road trips?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we talked a lot, man, which I enjoy doing. And it's my luck to be able to absorb so much from so many different great pieces of talent that I passed along the way.
Mm-hmm.
My duty to share that, and I shared a lot with Mick.
You can definitely see it in his work. So it's interesting to watch him as he progresses during this period too, because again, there's real shades of 1991 sinister Jake Roberts in there.
Yeah, you can see it.
Now, on the flip side of that, Jake, would you say, because I think it was actually you who told me before that as a wrestler, you never really stop learning. You're always picking up new stuff along the way. Would you say that Mick taught you anything or showed you anything?
Yeah, he showed me a lot of what not to do. Any of that high impact shit.
Are you trying to get in his ear, if you will? I know he's only got one ear. Are you trying to get in his ear a little bit about hey, brother, why don't you try to extend your fucking career a little bit?
I believe I told him he should extend his life a little bit.
Yeah.
Career. Because he was doing some of that silly shit, some of that crazy shit. But he was doing what he thought he had to do to keep that level for him.
Stay over.
Yeah.
Jake, have you ever seen Mick do his Nestea plunge where he's on the outside of the apron and falls flat back to the outside of the ring?
No.
So have you ever heard about this bump that he was doing?
No.
He would do that regularly during his time in WCW, and I believe did it a few times when he was in WWE. But it's notable in WCW during that period because, again, Bill Watts came in and said, you don't have mats on the outside. This is wrestling. And he pulled up those mats, so it's bare concrete. And Mick was flat backing from the ring to the floor. I mean, holy shit. How is this guy still alive?
Got one on me, brother.
Is there any amount of money that somebody could offer you to take a flat back like that?
No, there's no reason to do it.
There is not. You get a big ooh and ah from the audience, and then you move on with the match. No, thank you.
Somebody in the audience is trying to figure out how we fake that.
Yep, they're always like, oh, these guys know how to fall. It's like, oof, can't really fake that one, brother. You can tuck your chin so your head doesn't bounce, but you're still flat backing on concrete from whatever 3 feet up.
Concrete from 10 feet.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Last thing on Mick, in your opinion, more money in Mankind character or him as Cactus Jack?
Mankind.
I'm with you. I like Cactus Jack, but Mankind kind of popped off the screen a little more. The Monday Night Raw after International Incident on July 22nd, you'll do a phone call in on commentary, and Lawler and Austin will both come after you verbally and say that you'd been drinking, and that's why you were unable to work. So this is incredibly tasteless, obviously, in my opinion. I think it's bullshit, and it's stupid to say stuff like that about somebody who's a recovering alcoholic, but it's the direction they decided to take. Can you tell us how this particular creative was greenlit or who pitched it?
I have no idea. It was brought to me, and I'm like, oh, hell no. And I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I let it go.
How much nudging or prodding did it take for you to agree?
A lot. Yeah.
I mean, so blurring reality was becoming increasingly common during this period. Was there a part of you that thought maybe it was a good way to get sympathy on your character?
No, it's not. That's not what I was thinking.
Okay, guys, we had the appetizer last week, and now it's time to feast. College football is back. Don't miss any of the action. Jump in at DraftKings Sportsbook. We got a full slate of games for week 1, including the big matchup in Atlanta between the preseason number 1 and number 16. This is going to be DraftKings' biggest college football season to date. Enjoy the ride now, all the way through the expanded playoffs. Plus, all newbies, you folks that haven't done this before, who are getting into the college spirit, here's something a little extra special. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. We want you guys to score big with DraftKings all college football season long. Go and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code SNAKEPIT. That's code SNAKEPIT, SNAKEPIT, for new customers, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. Let's take a minute to talk about Lawler. You know, when did you and Jerry first come across paths or come across each other? It had to be prior to '96, right?
Oh yeah, we come across each other in the late '70s.
Wow, that early?
Yeah.
Do you remember the circumstances?
Yeah, I went to Memphis and starved for 3 weeks.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Was this with Nick Goulas?
No. This was with Jeff Jarrett or Jerry Jarrett and Lawler.
I had no idea that you had worked with Jerry and Lawler.
Yeah, I sure did. I went and lasted 3 weeks, and I went to Jarrett and told him that I needed to give my notice. They said, "Well, you just got here." I said, "Yeah, but I didn't bring enough money to stay."
You know, we've all heard mixed things over the years about what they were paying people in that territory, the CWA. Jake, can you enlighten us on how much you made in 3 weeks there?
Oh, in 3 weeks, probably about $600
Holy shit.
in 3 weeks.
That is not enough money.
No.
Like,
I think my lowest payoff was $15, and my average payoff was 25.
that is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
To go out there and work a match and take bumps, put your life at risk, and somebody hands you $15 afterwards. What's your reaction when you get handed this money the first time?
I just shook my head, man, walked away.
Have you ever been paid with like a hot dog? We always hear about that.
No.
Well, there's a plus. I've heard that some guys were starving so bad in those days they'd get like a 3 hot dog payoff and they would actually be a little bit excited, like, all right, we got some food.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe
So,
it.
man, that's a tough way to make a living. But so, man, I'm in shock that you were in Memphis at all. I had no idea that was a thing. And actually, now that I think of it, though, when we did the episode about November to Remember, when Tommy Dreamer filled in, he told a story. Let's see if you remember this, where the angle is he's in the ring with Jerry Lawler, and the lights go out. And when the lights come back on, Lawler's down, and there's Jake the Snake Roberts in ECW knocked him down. And Tommy told the story that when the lights were out, he heard Lawler give a big oof, like he heard like all the wind get knocked out of him. And then when Lawler's laying down, he's laying down legitimately selling. Tommy asked you afterwards about it, and apparently you said that's for some shitty payoffs. And now it's all the pieces are coming together. Is that a true story?
No.
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 Man, I wanted it to be true.
I'd like for it to be true, but it wasn't.
When Tommy said that on the show, I was like, he has to be mistaken because I don't think Jake ever worked in that territory, but here you did. So I was like, oh my gosh, all the puzzle pieces are fitting together, but maybe not so much.
No, that never happened, bro.
Oh, all right. Well, as a worker, promoter, commentator, promo, he's Jerry is really, really highly regarded by people, even despite the shitty payoffs that a lot of people got. A lot of folks will look back and say, like, "Hey, I really made my bones in Jerry's territory."
Yeah,
Would you say you shared those sentiments about Jerry and his work?
I was. Yeah, his work. Yes, I wasn't there long enough to enjoy anything good.
Yeah, from the promoter standpoint, no way.
Yeah,
But worker and commentator, promo, all that.
yeah, he's number one.
Prior to this, did you ever work a match with Jerry?
Yes, I had.
Okay, was that in Georgia?
Yes.
I thought so because I knew that he would stop by there every once in a while.
Yeah.
They always talk about the difference between Northern wrestling, Southern wrestling, Memphis wrestling is its own thing. Apparently, did you notice a big difference in like how you had to work?
No, I just took it my way.
Okay, so two
I
ring
was,
veterans, but you.
I was booking it and I was beating his ass.
so so you were presumably calling it in the ring too.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to be that way, especially if you're the booker, right?
Yep.
Well, returning to the build to SummerSlam, WWF uses Aldo Montoya as a stand-in for Lawler to work with him leading up to the event. And on the August 5th Superstars, Lawler defeated Montoya after hitting two pile drivers. And following the match, Lawler made Montoya drink an entire bottle of Jim Beam till officials pulled him away from the Montoya. So, for fans who might not know, Aldo would go on to perform in ECW as Just Incredible, where he would eventually capture the promotion's world title. Montoya is said to have been a friend of the Click, but you'd work against him in ECW just 2 years later at November to Remember, the pay per view we just talked about. What did you think about him and what he would become there is just incredible?
Yeah, I like Just Incredible, man. We spent some time together. I've tried to help him with his path to sobriety.
Mm.
I believe he's doing a better job of it than he was, but he was certainly a talent.
Now, a lot of people would say that it looked like Aldo Montoya was wearing a very colorful jock strap on his head. What did you think of that character?
He kind of sucked.
It really
Yeah.
which was illustrated well whenever he'd go to ECW and kind of do his own thing. And it's like, oh, okay, I like this guy. I didn't like Aldo Montoya, but Just Incredible's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear you've been helping him out though, Jake. When is the last time you spoke to Justin?
It's been a few years, man.
Oh, okay. Well, hoping that he's doing well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Following this, you would once again get called to Monday Night Raw and you'd vow to get revenge. Montoya worked the house show loop, presumably in your spot, wrestling Lawler and Stone Cold. You were often in Montoya's corner for these matches. In many of them, Lawler defeated Montoya with your DDT. When facing Stone Cold, Montoya often lost, and then you would get involved with the Snake following the match. Before SummerSlam, WWF ran MSG on August 9th. The event drew 14,000 fans with over 11,000 fans paying for the event. So things are going pretty well, even though they're losing the Monday Night Wars at this point. In the match that was supposed to be on pay-per-view, Mankind is going to defeat you in 37 seconds after attacking you on the outside and then putting you in the mandible claw once in the ring. A few things about this show, Jake. The Garden, it's considered home base for the WWF during this time, so these shows are really important for business. There's also a narrative out there that working MSG was kind of like reaching the pinnacle of your profession during this time. This was obviously not your first rodeo there, but was it special for you anytime you got to work in that building?
Oh, absolutely, man. What a pleasure. I remember one time though, we were there and I was getting ready to go to the ring, and there was this hallway that you went down, and behind you there was an elevator, a freight elevator, not a regular elevator, a freight elevator.
Whoa.
And just as I'm getting ready to go down there, and they got a camera on me, the elevator starts opening up, and about 7 people come off. and a couple of them are just ginormous black guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I started screaming, "Get the fuck out of here! You can't be here, man. We're going live. We're going live. Move, move, move." So they moved because I went through quite a tirade. I went ahead and went to the ring and did my thing. And when I came back, I run into one of the big guys. And he goes, "Hey, man, I'm sorry we got in your way. But Sugar Ray didn't know that." And I'm like, "Sugar Ray?" "Yeah, that was Sugar Ray Leonard you were screaming at."
Holy shit. So between that and I believe it was Robert Plant before,
Yeah,
man, you've kind of stepped in it backstage with the celebrities a couple times.
I have, man.
And actually, now that I think of it, didn't you have a little thing with Joan Rivers too?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, hilarious that you would always find yourself in those situations.
Yeah, I'd step right in it, bro.
I've also heard a lot of people say that the Garden is, for lack of a better way to put it, kind of a shithole. Did you feel that way?
No,
The
no.
people were saying that like backstage, like the accommodations, locker rooms, just like the age of the building, it just wasn't a well kept building. But you didn't feel that way about it?
Yeah, it was old. It was old. But, you know, I'm not a prima donna. And I've dressed in worse places.
And it's the fucking Garden, you know. Man, it's a big, really big deal to be there. And look, I know that you didn't always have happy memories there. I believe that's a site where Lanny Poffo would fuck up your kidneys
Yeah.
really bad. Do you have a favorite memory of working in that building?
No, I can't remember, bro. I can't remember.
You've been there like a million times, so it's probably hard to pick one.
What happened there? It was pretty damn good.
Do you think this quick match was designed to protect you because you had been out of action for a
Yeah,
little bit?
absolutely.
Okay. Well, SummerSlam 1996 took place at the Gund Arena with 17,000 fans in attendance, with 14,000 paying. So it's a $413,000 gate. So again, it's kind of a little up and down right now for the WWF. Despite the previous 2 or 3 years where business was down, the WWF enjoyed a near sellout for this one. They've been getting edgier as the year went on with the wrestling product. Did you feel that the business as a whole was moving in the right direction with this kind of edgy take on things?
It was.
I mean, it's interesting because I always hear guys from your generation of wrestlers say like, shit really went off the rails whenever they started, whenever the Monday Night Wars started, and then they started going back and forth with like this kind of, tits and ass type
That
product.
ridiculous crap, man. It was just ridiculous bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff was just like a bit too much, but again, I guess it's just what you've got to do to keep that 90s audience entertained, right?
A lot of it was wasted fucking airtime.
That's for damn sure. Which I'm sure we'll get into on another Jake watches wrestle crap, which we'll do coming up. In the middle of the card, you'd take on Lawler and you'd lose in just under 4 minutes. You'd tease the DDT a couple times, but ultimately Jerry would get the win by hitting you in the chest with a giant liquor bottle, which again, just fucking stupid. And even more stupid, of course, he pours the bottle on you before Mark Henry makes the save. So Jake, we've discussed this before, but let's make this the ultimate account of the events. Was there actually liquor in this bottle?
Yes. Yes.
And were you clued in on the fact that it would be happening?
Oh, I went ballistic.
Yeah. Are you putting the heat on Lawler or the office?
I went after Lawler and the office at the same time.
What kind of stuff were you saying to them?
Get fucked, you motherfuckers. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty disgusting, man.
Well, the match that was voted worst in this card was the main event between Shawn Michaels and Vader. This has become one of the more infamous incidents of the time period and really illustrates what a menace Shawn had become behind the scenes. Bruce Pritchard stated on his podcast that this was supposed to be the first of 3 big-time pay-per-view matches between Shawn and Vader, but because of what happened in the ring, the WWF inserted Sid into the Vader spot. And to remind the audience, at one point in the match, Shawn comes off the top rope for a move, but Vader is not in position. Shawn lands right next to Vader and kicks him in the head several times, audibly yelling "move" at him. We have the 20-second clip of the incident, and it's our only one this week. Let's have a look.
All right, now's the time to build that momentum. Quicken the pace.
Go to the top. Here he goes. Shawn Michaels for an opportunity to win this match.
Take some chances and go for it. Well, you've got the opportunity.
Michaels on the top. Michaels kicking Vader.
All right, so a short clip, but a lot happened there, Jake.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts when you see that shit?
Pretty sickening, man.
This is on pay-per-view live at the second biggest show of the year. I mean, Jake, in all your years of wrestling, have you ever seen somebody throw a temper tantrum in the middle of the ring like this?
Nope.
It's insanity. And I know that you had your share of frustrations with Vader as well, and you weren't a fan of his work or attitude. If this is you in the ring with Vader and he fucks up in the ring, how are you handling it? Do you bitch him in the back or punish him by blowing him up, or what do you do?
No, I don't fuck him up, man. I don't physically abuse him.
Right.
There's no need for that.
I mean, you handle that stuff in the back, right? You have a conversation with him afterwards.
Absolutely.
If you're in control of the WWF at the time, would you make the same decision Vince did here to scrap the feud between these two? Or are you telling these guys to just get their shit together and coexist?
Absolutely. Get your shit together and work it out. You're professionals. Act like professionals.
I guess I've got to follow that up with this question. Again, if you're in charge, is Shawn Michaels fired after this incident, even though he's one of your top draws?
No, he's not fired, but he's fined heavily.
Gotta be, man. Well, look, that is going to wrap us up this week, Jake. I appreciate you talking about this period. Again, I know that it's not your favorite period, and it's understandable why. You know, there's a lot of bullshit during this time. So this will be our final look back at your time in the new generation. Next week, we'll be back in action, of course. But I want to thank you for your time this week, man. Always good chatting with you.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Okay, guys, that is going to do it for this week. Just want to give you a reminder that if you're looking to attract that 25 to 54-year-old male demographic to your product or service, you've got to get over to advertisewithsnake.com. Jake, still a household name, still out there doing meet and greets, meeting fans, talking to people, going to different cities, and you can get him to put over your stuff to the exact audience that you're targeting. If you need some evidence that it works, just listen to the show. We are routinely advertising for the same businesses because they know that what we do here on the Snake Pit works. Head over to advertisewithsnake.com and make Jake the Snake Roberts your tag team partner. If you're looking for the latest, freshest Jake the Snake merch, there's one place to get it, pal. It's onetruesport.com. Not only do we have Jake merchandise, we've also got merchandise for all the other people affiliated with our network, and we've brought on some new folks. We've got Nikita Koloff merchandise. We've got Tully Blanchard merchandise, and it is the official Four Horsemen shop. We've also got Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff merchandise, and so much more. We are constantly adding new names. We're always on the hunt for some new legends to bring aboard, and we've got some big ones coming down the pike, which will soon be determined. So you want to get over there and get a look at all this awesome Roots of Fight style merch. It's over at onetruesport.com. Go have a look right now. Get over to cameo.com/Jake Snake for a personal message from the Hall of Famer himself. Here's a recent 5-star review from Eddie. Jake does a mean roast. Thank you. It was awesome. Guys, if you're lifelong fans of Jake the Snake Roberts, you've got to at least get over there and get a look at these reviews on Cameo. It's cameo.com/Jake Snake. It's the perfect gift. It's the perfect thing to treat yourself with. Go and order yours right now. Check us out on YouTube. It's youtube.com/@SnakePitPod. We got short clips from the show, some highlights, some exclusive content. We're doing some new stuff over there on the YouTube channel. We brought on a YouTube guy who's going to be helping us out, and really looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the table and bringing you guys some really cool dynamic looks at what we have to offer here on the podcast. Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. It's a really great way to support our show. Get over there, like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell. It'll hook us up big time. And speaking of hooking us up big time, if you've enjoyed the podcast, please do us a favor and like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review on your podcast app. That's a big one for Jake and I because that attracts new advertisers. Before I let you guys go, I want to remind you to get over to OneTrueSportTV.com. That's where we have those membership tiers, and what you want to do is become a traveling champion. Less than half the price of our competitors, and we offer all the same stuff and more. This week, as a matter of fact, as this episode drops on Tuesday, Arn Anderson is first going live on our YouTube channel, and then he's doing a Q&A with our traveling champion members. That means that those members get invited to a private Zoom with none other than the enforcer himself, the founder of the Four Horsemen, Arn Anderson. They get to ask him questions, pick his brain for about 45 minutes over there. It's just one of the many perks we have to offer on OneTrueSportTV.com. Get over there, shop around, see which plan works best for you, and become part of our little community that we're building over there, because let me tell you, we've got some really awesome stuff on the way. Catch Jake on X at JakeSnakeDDT, on Instagram at JakeTheSnakeDDT, and on Facebook at Real Jake the Snake. You can follow me at Marcus P. D'Angelo on X. And if you have any future questions for the show, go ahead and drop them right there, pal, right in my DMs. I love hearing from you guys, whether it's good or bad, whether you've just got a question or you just want to say hi. Hit me up in those DMs. Again, it's Marcus P. D'Angelo on X. That'll do it for this week, guys. 1996 is